In this video we are going to delve into the tragic last days and final moments of one of the greatest voices in soul music history, Paul Williams. The Temptations were a vocal group that formed in Detroit, Michigan in 1960. They became one of the most successful groups in Motown history, with countless hits and a signature sound that made them icons of the genre. And at the heart of that sound was Paul Williams, whose rich baritone voice and showmanship helped define the group's style. Unfortunately, Paul's life was cut short by tragedy, leaving fans mourning the loss of one of the most talented artists of his generation. In this video, we'll take a closer look at Paul Williams' life and career, and examine the events that led to his untimely death. Remember to like, comment and subscribe to our channel for such. Part 1: The Rise of Paul Williams and the Temptations. Paul Williams was born on July 2, 1939, in Birmingham, Alabama. He grew up in a musical family, and his father was a gospel singer who often performed in church. When Paul was a teenager, his family moved to Detroit, where he began singing in various groups around the city. In 1960, Paul was recruited to join a new vocal group called the Temptations, who were signed to Motown Records. The group consisted of 5 members, including Eddie Kendricks, David Ruffin, Melvin Franklin, and Otis Williams. They quickly became one of the most popular groups in the country, with hits like My Girl, Ain't Too Proud to Beg, and Papa Was a Rolling Stone. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, Paul Williams remained a central figure in the Temptations. He was known for his charismatic stage presence and his powerful vocals, which helped the group achieve an unprecedented level of success. But behind the scenes, Paul was struggling with personal demons that would eventually lead to his downfall. Part 2: The Decline of Paul Williams. After leaving the Temptations, Paul Williams struggled to find his footing in the music industry. He formed a new group called the Paul Williams Revue but was unable to replicate his earlier success. In the early 1970s, Paul Williams began experiencing health problems that would ultimately impact his ability to perform. He suffered from alcoholism and depression, and his physical condition deteriorated to the point where he could no longer keep up with the demands of touring and recording. Despite these challenges, Paul continued to perform with the Temptations, but his condition worsened over time. He became increasingly reliant on alcohol and prescription drugs, and his behavior became erratic and unpredictable. In 1973, he was forced to leave the group due to his health issues, and he was replaced by Richard Street. Paul's departure from the Temptations marked the beginning of a dark period in his life. He struggled to find work and support himself, and his addiction problems only got worse. He attempted to start a solo career, but his health issues made it difficult for him to maintain a consistent schedule. His personal relationships also suffered, and he became increasingly isolated from his family and friends. Part 3: The Tragic End of Paul Williams. On August 17, 1973, Paul Williams was found dead in his Detroit apartment. He had died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. The news of his death sent shockwaves through the music world, and fans were devastated by the loss of one of the greatest voices in soul music history. The circumstances surrounding Paul's death remain somewhat mysterious, but it is widely believed that he was struggling with depression and addiction at the time. He had reportedly been talking about suicide in the days leading up to his death, and his friends and family had grown increasingly concerned about his life. On August 17, 1973, Paul Williams was found dead in his car in an alley behind his home in Detroit. He had shot himself in the head, and his death was ruled a suicide. Williams' tragic death was a shock to his fans and the music industry. Paul Williams' death was a tragic end to a talented musician and choreographer. Williams' signature moves and soulful voice continue to inspire new generations of artists. In 2013, Williams was posthumously inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of the Temptations. His legacy also lives on through the Paul Williams Foundation, which provides scholarships to young musicians and supports mental health and addiction treatment. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification button. See you on the next video.